This is us.
This is us.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a different show, isn't it?
No, this one.
I can say definitively here that is not what this movie is about.
Welcome to the Stability Clinic, where there's a family in our driveway.
Dead bodies lie strewn throughout the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. Birds scour the pavement for food. Wielding the fireplace poker, Addie walks through the area. She goes to the stairs leading to the beach and spots dozens of doubles in the distance. They all stand hand in hand in a massive line, spanning the beach and a shallow tide pool.
And so it's a very nice, literally night and day contrast of a lively nighttime carnival versus like a daytime zombie carnival, foreshadowed by Michael Jackson's Thriller. This is in the tunnels. Adelaide is chasing Red down because Red's trying to lure her in and, still torment her and hopefully kill her. So Adelaide and Red are having a showdown.
Addie steps further into the room, passing the back wall of empty rabbit cages. The other walls in the room feature countless red handprints on their lower halves. Addie stops.
Where is he?
Addie's double keeps her back turned as she works her hands.
How it must have been to grow up with the sky, to feel the sun, the wind, the trees. But your people took it for granted. We're human too, Exactly like you.
Addie advances with slow, cautious steps.
And yet,
Glimpses show the facility.
it was humans that built this place. I believe they figured out how to make a copy of the body, but not the soul. The soul remains one, shared by two. They created the tethered so they could use them to control the ones above. Like puppets.
Slips of paper fall by the double's feet.
But they failed, and they abandoned the tethered. For generations, the tethered continued without direction. They all went mad down here. And then there was us.
I feel like how some people would jump on that as a conspiracy theory, like it sounds like that. But then it's also metaphorically, right? The things that are controlling everyone in the above, and that's all that materialistic stuff. So is that, yeah. But it just reminds me of a conspiracy theory. It probably is on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, because you do have people out there that say, like, we're all just programmed anyway. Like, you got people that believe we're programmed by the media, we're programmed by pharmaceuticals. Some people just say we're just all programmed by our government. I'm not saying that. Let me just say that. I'm not saying that I believe that. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people do believe that.
I don't necessarily not believe that. I might not believe it to the point where what they are talking about. But again, when we look at the idea of control, there are things controlling all of us to some extent, right?
Yeah, there are things externally that have so much influence over us.
Yes.
It really makes us question, do we truly have free will? Or are we driven by more primal instincts, our desires, our hard biological wiring, so that we can be so influenced that we can be manipulated easily. Yeah. There's some real tragedy here in what Red's monologue is, because she's talking about the tethered and how marginalized and unfortunate their upbringing is. Like, there's a whole sequence where the carnival sequence from the beginning, there's a whole underground tunnel mirroring of it. They all kind of look like puppets, like their movements aren't full, they're not speaking, like they're not having fun, they're just kind of being mirrors.
Yeah, I guess I missed my chance to go pro.
You remember?
In the underground hallway, a double of Addie's father mimics playing the same game.
I won number 11.
Yeah?
On the boardwalk, Russell gives her the Thriller t-shirt. Below ground, his double gives the Addie double a similar shirt. The girl snatches it. Wearing her new shirt, Addie's double wanders down the underground hallway, crowded with other tethered doubles. At the same time, Addie walks behind her parents on the boardwalk. Her father's double stiffly mimics Russell's movements.
And it's funny because the superficial understanding is like, oh, you're supposed to feel bad for the tethers. They're not living that full life. I think the movie is saying the people above aren't living the full life either.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, maybe in a way we're all tethered, we're not able to access like our deeper selves. Not to get too existential.
And the tragedy is that Red and her family and the Tethered, it's almost like you're rooting for them. It's like, oh, you're supposed to root for the underdogs. You're supposed to root for the marginalized people. And then they get what they want. Like, you know, they break free, they're murdering their doubles. And then they're just inheriting this surface world that is just as empty and meaningless as the underground tunnels were.
Oh man, that's deep.
Yeah, I mean, even when you go back and Abraham, how he got the boat. And
Yeah.
The double drives the boat with his back to Gabe. The motor stops. Abraham glances back, and Gabe quickly goes limp.
Right, and they were all trying to get something. They were trying to get stuff. They were taking things at that point.
That point was really driven home because remember Kitty's double, she was putting makeup on in the mirror.
Yep,
And she was like, I want to look beautiful like her.
Kitty's double picks up lip gloss and opens it. With spots of blood on her face, she applies the gloss to her bottom lip. The double gazes at herself in a vanity mirror.
It just seemed like we're all trying to achieve this thing. You know, it's kind of hollow. Like, I think we're just chasing.
I'm so glad you brought up that scene with Kitty where the tethered Kitty, she sits down at the mirror and starts putting lipstick on. The audio description doesn't describe her face, but there's cuts on it and she looks kind of ragged. Like you can see the history of the quote unquote like mirrored plastic surgeries. It doesn't look exactly like Kitty. Like you can tell she's an off-brand version.
Yeah, I think the one that I watched, which was not this version, it had a different audio description, different narrator and everything. Right now, from my memory, I think it does better than this version.
She glides the pink gloss onto her lower lip, then dips it back into the small container. She purses her lips, then applies some gloss to her upper lip. Her face flecked with blood, she studies her reflection and smiles.
I noted in my first watch through with the audio description that they don't refer to Red as Red in the audio description. From what I can remember, they refer to her as the double.
In this one, they do. In the one that I have, they do. Yep.
Okay, clearly the better new version is the superior one.
Addie's double's eyes go wide and tears stream down her face.
Tears stream down the face of the mother, Red, who stares off open-mouthed.
It was really clear.
And it seems as simple as using the names.
Using the names is a big thing. That's a big deal in audio description too, when it's not even like this. But sometimes what happens is that you have characters that are significant in movies and sometimes never get named, or they might get named later on, like late into the film. And sometimes it's just really bad, right? The guy with the black hair, like, oh Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah.
And so they'll continue to just refer to the guy with the black hair, the chubby guy, whatever. If there's nothing that I'm going to lose, like it ends up not being a big deal when they name him. Oh, we find out his name is Bob. So just call him Bob. Like it's not a big deal. Anyway,
That's such a good point, because I feel like when you just artificially say, oh, I'm going to give an audio description of this whole film, there's this desire to really depict everything in the image, whereas someone who's not visual, that's not always the important detail. It's like they just want to know who it is, and it's much more concise to just be like, name.
Yeah.
But
you can provide that information, that detail in the beginning, that description, but then at some point, name this guy. If unless it's going to spoil something, then that's why they usually don't. But there's been many films that have that, and there's no spoil when the guy's name is finally revealed.
I've experienced them before, maybe not to your extent, but I always took it. Maybe sometimes they don't say the guy's name in the beginning because in the story, their name isn't known.
That's correct. But what I'm saying is that it gets really cumbersome to kind of consistently hear them referred to as the chubby guy. Yeah. And if it goes on for 40, 50 minutes, you're tired of it. You can just call him whatever his name is, unless we find out that they've been referring to this guy Bob, but nobody knows who Bob is. And this is Bob. And that's why they don't name him, because then it's this big reveal that Bob is the killer, whatever.
Yeah.
And so in the end of this movie, they've been referring to Adelaide, the apparent protagonist, as Adelaide. In the end, when they reveal a twist in the new version of the audio description, do they say Adelaide is revealed to be the original Tether? Or do you remember how they describe it?
Yeah, I don't remember. And that's really terrible because it wasn't that long ago.
That's okay.
Driving the ambulance, the real Addie double looks over at Jason. He stares back at his mother with an uncertain expression.
Behind the wheel of the ambulance, Addie, the escaped tethered, looks across at Jason. He stares back at her suspiciously.
It's not important that you don't remember it. It's important that you recall that story switched for you easily.
Oh,
which
yes,
is great.
it definitely did that. But my memory is concerning.
At this point, maybe let's get some just overall impressions, maybe when it comes to representation of marginalization or even disability. And if you have any other like critiques or feedback about the audio description.
My overall thing is just, like I said in the beginning, just Jordan Peele's mastery, the writing, just the storytelling in general. Is just so fantastic for so many reasons. Like Jordan Peele stuff, my girls and I, we watch together. It's just a great movie to just talk about, right? And all his films are great. Even the to the point where we were like, oh, what, he's doing Twilight Zones? Like we wanted to watch all the Twilight Zones, you know? There's the cultural stuff, there's the political stuff that's in there, you know, and it's not straight in your face. It's not corny. It makes you think.
Yeah.
It gives you the opportunity to look into this stuff and make decisions for yourself. It's just fantastic. I love it.
I would just like piggyback or concur with Tom says. It's like this is such a great conversation starter. I don't really watch a lot of scary movies a day. Not saying that they're all bad, not talking about any other film, but a lot of scary films, I feel like they're just in it for the jump scare. But it's kind of, there's nothing there. I feel like with Jordan Peele films, it's a lot of substance to it and it's commentary, but also it's going to be really entertaining because there's some movies that are commentary. This is a message, you know. The best films to me are entertaining at the core, and then they also have a great message. Some people have said that Jordan Peele is this generation's Hitchcock. Not that I'm aficionado in Hitchcock, but he might be even better.
I think I often ask myself, what if Hitchcock worked with black actors? Those are my favorite movies that have never been made.
Yeah, I'm glad you ended with that because I get annoyed of the comparison stuff, you know. But I won't get into that. But yeah, let's just leave Jordan Peele where he is. He's
in a category of his own.
Category of his own. Yeah. My wife does not like this movie, but I
you
know
said that about Get Out too.
Yeah, my wife hates this movie. She hates
because of how real it gets.
I think so. Yeah, and I'm like, you should say you love it. There you go. So the thing is, I know how to translate Marlette to the rest of the world. So she doesn't like the movie, which means the movie's really good. And the reason I say that is because Marlette has an issue with zombies, doppelgangers. It's a trigger, or I don't know. It's just something that in her soul she don't like. I should get it checked out because she might be red. But
it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I see what you're doing.
She watched it with us, and because we was trying to get her to come on watch it. This is when we watched it like a second time or something. My girls and I. And so she sat down and she just watched it. She didn't move, and we're like at the end. She's like, "Wasn't that great?" She's like, "I don't like it."
I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, so then we figured out, oh, that means this was really good.
I feel like I'm on the wavelength of your wife. It's like something makes me uncomfortable about doppelgangers and zombies, but it was a great film.
I'm with you, bro. I was saying, like, I waited till today because I'm home alone.
Tell me you did not just reference Home Alone.
Maybe unpopular opinion, but when I first saw this film, I wasn't too excited about it. Like, I was like, oh, that pales in comparison to Get Out.
A lot of people say that.
I know. And I think it's probably because I didn't get it the first time. I saw the first twist of Adelaide being actually the tethered. And I was like, oh, okay, that's the twist. It wasn't until revisiting it and seeing the layers that were deeper and hidden that I came to appreciate it. And so I definitely have much more respect for the film. It's still not my favorite Jordan Peele film.
This could get political.
I know. There's a lot more coming for you.
Us.
I love in Jordan Peele's work that the characters are believable, right? They're not doing foolish things for the most part. And that keeps you right there with them in the experience. I like how it addresses those who feel marginalized, those who feel like they don't have what they deserve. And that's much more accessible and relatable to many different races and identities. And I love how it's not just a horror film. It's a psychological thriller. It's making us think. There's comedy. And I love that there's imagery and symbolism that works visually and in audio description. Like, that's good writing. That's good storytelling. The big takeaway that I'm taking away from like both of your experiences with the audio description is that the narrators should be culturally aligned with the content of the film. I just don't see a reason why that isn't happening, aside from cultural bias and tradition. And, you know, if not aligned with the protagonist, then at least aligned with like an appropriate representative, like someone who might represent the feeling or the notion of the film. You know, doesn't always have to be the same race or whatever.
And also the music. Can we shout out the music selection in this, because it was fantastic.
Shout out.
I just all the music in here. Even that closing, that Minnie Riperton song, love that. Oh, I love the closing song.
Like, I feel like in each of his movies, there's like a trio of songs. In Get Out, I can recall like 3 main songs, and in this movie, this is going to be a 3-parter. Like, I'll kind of have each part like highlight a song from the film. So
yeah, like, and I was like, I'll never look at that song the same way again.
Well, which 3 songs do you think? Do y'all think are the standouts? Because
I got 5 on it. Fuck the Police.
Yeah.
And the like dun 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 dun.
Okay,
it's like the cover of the ballet song.
Glimpses show their teen selves dancing as the double skillfully dodges more of Addie's strikes.
I actually like the way they use that Good Vibrations.
Oh yeah, it was so
I really like the way that came on. Yeah.
Oh, what scene was that? I can't remember.
That was right before they got killed. That was
the white.
Oh yeah.
Ophelia, give me some Beach Boys.
Really?
Why not?
By the Beach Boys.
So last night here, let's have a little party.
A double of Becca enters.
Hello?
Oh my God!
She stabs Becca with scissors.
And look at what happened when he put that on. That's what goes when you're playing the Beach Boys. No, I'm just
It's just hostile in here right now. The vibrations aren't right.
I got 5 on it too, because it's just like that was my family in the car. I mean, you know, we just rock.
What does I got 5 on it mean?
It's about drugs.
It's not about drugs. It's a dope song. Don't do drugs.
Get in rhythm. There you go. There you go.
But then again, I love the closing. The Minnie Riperton song at the closing.
Les Fleur, Minnie Riperton.
Les Fleur, yeah.
I got eerie, creepy vibes from the closing. The end of the film, once Adelaide and Jason kind of share their look of understanding of whatever that means, like 3 different things.
Gazing back at the boy, her lips curl into a smile. She looks back to the road as she drives. Jason pulls his fanged monster mask over his face.
You pan away from the ambulance, and the ambulance is just kind of driving through what seems like a peaceful beachside, countryside, rural hillside, but then you start to see lines of tethers holding hands.
The moving view reveals a long line of the tethered, wearing their red jumpsuits and holding hands. The aerial view shows the line of people cresting a hilltop. The line stretches into the distance, spanning forested mountains and valleys.
Oh man, that just felt so good. That's what I like, because if you go and listen to that song, you're just gonna vibe out. You're not gonna feel creepy. And so that's what I love about music in general, period, is like, depending on the context, it can take on something new.
But yeah, fantastic discussion. Love watching movies with you. Guys, we're gonna do Nope next year. Like, we're gonna finish the trifecta next year.
Yeah, we got to.
Yep.
We got to.
Time to get my notebooks out.
So yeah, Nope is serious. Nope is,
I know, I'm so excited for that.
Nope is gonna require some work.
If accessibility breakdowns are your thing, hit that like button and subscribe to Disability Clinic.
Let us know what movie or TV show you want to see next.
I'm trying to like be more loose, because I know that I have a tendency to get kind of lectury and stiff.
What about if you liked his breakdown, like us? See the part?
Oh, I like that. Wearing a bleh.
So hey everybody, my name is Thomas Reed. I'm a brown-skinned black man with a smooth-shaven bald head, full neat beard, sprinkled with a little bit of salt and pepper. Oh damn, I gotta do that again. Hold on.
Ooh, the alarm.
My name is Ajay AJ Murray. My audio description is
Okay, cool. Take 2. Click.
that sucks. Okay, so
Well, that's a warm up. You're warming up. And I'm Dr. Van, because that's the short. Stephanie's too long.
That sounds like a rapper name. Dr. Van.
Dr. Man, yeah. Thomas, are you raising your hand?
Oh no, I'm just turning my mic on.
I you're like, I have something to say.
Well, I do, but go ahead.